All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We have a special guest as a presenter today, one of our amazing customer, Intuitive Surgical. So we're very excited about this webinar. I'm just going to go over the agenda and quick presentation of the company, some housekeeping, and then I'm going to let Yvonne Fernandez lead the rest of the webinar. So first of all, we are going to record this webinar. So don't worry if you have to leave, if you miss some parts, we will be able to share it with you. You're on mute, so don't ask questions, don't try to speak, we're not going to listen. So just go in the section questions or chat in your GoToWebinar control panel, and we're going to read them at the end of the presentation out loud and try to answer them all. If we can answer them all during the webinar, I am going to send an email to you. I'm going to try to reach out to you offline. For any other information, just send me an email at giulia@clovesing.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Another thing, please follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, okay, to know what's going on at Cloves, the new updates and new webinar coming. Everything is going to post it on the social media, so like us both on LinkedIn and Facebook. And please check out our app store on our website where we have free demos you can play around with and see how it works. Housekeeping done, let's dive into Cloves. So I don't know, probably some of you already knows Cloves, but we are ServiceNow partners since 2011. We're based in Santa Clara, California. We are a full ServiceNow shop, so we do pretty much everything that ServiceNow offers. So we have implemented each and every module. We reached the 150 plus customer milestone this year, so we're very excited about that. Plus, our team is growing to up to 45 consultants all over the US and Australia and Canada. So we can execute projects globally. From a service perspective, as I said, we cover everything, but we decided that this year, 2017, is going to be the year of CSM, Customer Service Management, and User Portal, so Service Portal, and HR. And that's why today the presentation is going to be focused on HR, the case of Intuitive Surgical. So we implemented HR for them, and Yvonne is going to tell us the story in a second. So I'm going to give her the control. Okay. Yvonne, if you want to introduce yourself and start the presentation, it's all on you. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Before I begin, I want to thank Cloves for having me here today. It's quite an honor to share our journey with you all, and I hope you find it informative and look forward to the Q&A session after the presentation. So again, thank you, Cloves, for having me and giving me the opportunity to share a story. I am Yvonne Fernandez, and I am the Senior Manager for our HR Shared Services team here at Intuitive Surgical. I've been here for a little over 2 years and have been on quite a journey since I started, so it's been a lot of fun. And the HR Help Now implementation is actually the bulk of that fun, believe it or not. So our agenda, we have a lot of things to cover. I'm going to give you an overview of Intuitive Surgical and HR, and the need for our case management system as well, and how we got there, why we got there. Why ServiceNow? Why Cloves? We're going to I'm going to share with you a little bit about our implementation plan, how we prepared for the implementation, and something that I think that we sometimes don't give enough thought or time to is the change management. So I'll be walking you through what we did and our thoughts and our execution as it pertains to change management. We're going to dive into our portal, And then I'm just going to talk through some of the things that we have plans for, because it's certainly not a launch and leave. And then some feedback and opportunities that we're looking at this time. So a lot of good stuff to cover here. So let's jump in. So for those of you who don't know Intuitive Surgical, we are the makers of Da Vinci. And really our mission is to make surgery more effective, less invasive, and easier on surgeons and patients. And to be honest with you, Da Vinci is cutting edge technology. No pun intended there, honestly. But it really is cutting edge technology. And what we make, our Da Vinci system, it changes lives for patients. And it has a real big impact in the industry. So with that, we have about 4,000 employees worldwide. 3,000 of those employees are in the U.S., and then we have 60 employees in the U.S. in HR, supporting all this great stuff. Our HR department, this is not cutting edge. I mean, this is the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing. And you'll notice here that it's HR department from. This is our from state. We had our supporting functions were dispersed across HR. In fact, believe it or not, we had someone answering benefit questions that reported into finance. So it was very disjointed. You could imagine very ineffective, and really a lost opportunity with resources and time and money. So what did we do? About a year ago, and it was a little less than a year ago that we implemented this, there was an initiative to create a centralized HR shared services team. And that's the team that I manage. Earlier I talked about, what we do, what we make and put out in the industry, making surgery more effective, less invasive, easier on surgeons and patients. What we did was basically look inward to our own HR department. It's like, how can we make doing regular business that an employee has to do as it pertains to benefits, employee changes for managers, requisition creation for managers, how can we make that business more effective, less painful, easier on our managers, our employees, our HR business partner community, and our HR centers of excellence? So what I also want to share with you is our HR shared services is not your average or, no, there is no average. I take that back. There's no average. We're just unique in how we developed and formed our HR shared services team, in that a bulk of our work that we do is actually servicing our own HR centers of excellence and HR business partner communities, as well as our employees and managers. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. We, as a part of our team, we actually have all of the support for specifically to talent acquisition. So we also do interview scheduling. We do all the rec management. We audit offers. So we provide that supporting function to our talent acquisition team, as well as to our performance management team or talent development team, and so on. So that's what makes us a little unique. And actually, you're going to see that once I jump into the portal and show you our portal. So why ServiceNow? That was really the case for the case management. But why ServiceNow and Cloves? I mean, we had an outdated system. It didn't support any other languages except English. There was a knowledge base, but it was on the IT side actually, but it was very difficult to update, maintain, and so on. And so as a result, a lot of the content became very old, and it was unreliable, and our employees didn't trust it, and they had every right not to. In HR, we basically had nothing. We had a whole bunch of email aliases that we had, up to 10 people in and moving things around. We were making a lot of mistakes. We were moving requests to completed folders when they hadn't even been touched. There's no reporting. You can't report out of Outlook. And we really had no knowledge base to speak of. So ServiceNow, if you think about the Da Vinci, I really do equate ServiceNow to the Da Vinci. Much different. It's providing a different solution to a different problem, right? But it had the flexibility. It had everything that we were looking for in a case management system that didn't just solve for IT, by the way. This was a solution that we made a decision to go with ServiceNow because it could serve across the enterprise for all functions, and that was important to us. And then we needed the right consulting partner to help us with that. So Cloves, having had the expertise and knowledge in our functional spaces was very important to us. They proved to be a valuable partner. And I have to say that Cloves really rose to the occasion because we weren't an easy customer, I will say, just being completely honest. We weren't an easy customer. We made a lot of changes, downstream, and we had to undo some things, and we pivoted, several times at unexpected times. And Cloves, they were patient, they kept their cool, they were flexible and nimble, and that's what we needed for a partner. So let's jump into the implementation plan. This is a snapshot of what we looked at every single week. So we had our plan, we had our actual, we tracked our accomplishments, we tracked what we needed to get done for the next week. And we really put out there, what were our issues that we were going to face or were facing, and our risks and things to watch out for. And we had the overall phase and then the status of our phase. When I looked at this, I had to laugh because, preparing for this presentation, I had to laugh. It's like, okay, our overall implementation plan for HR was yellow. We had to be honest and say, green meant everything 100% was on track. But as you know, that isn't always the case. And I have to say, I'll be completely honest, I think we were 98% of the time in yellow. We never hit red, thank God. And we this really kept us honest and on track. But you can see here that our plan and our actual were pretty much on target, and we were ahead with some elements in our phase 4. Our actual, we completed it like 2.5 weeks before the deadline date, and I think that was the one time we were in green, on track. So this was our implementation plan, and we launched on October, I think, 17th. So change management, HR professionals, this is a word that we use a lot. And we certainly did put together a robust plan that kept us organized and kept our employees informed, our stakeholders informed, educated throughout the whole process. So we started the change management in September 6th. This is all high level stuff. Underneath each box was probably an action item list of anywhere from 3 to 15 line items with anywhere from 1 to 3 owners of those action items. So I just really want to iterate that this is a high level. It's not as easy as it looks. This is like a nice little picture here. But underneath was a lot of discussions, negotiations, and work to execute on each one of these boxes. So I have to say that I wanted to share with you guys that one of my biggest learnings during the change management journey was taking the time to pull in our internal stakeholders. And not forgetting about our HR department. That was a surprise to me. That was actually a gotcha for me, was, oh my God, my own HR people. I was so concerned about the employees and the managers that I forgot about my own HR organization. So, and I knew it wasn't too late for that, but some scrambling did happen, elevated heart rate many times during that happened. So that was something I wanted to share with you. And then along with that was taking more time with our HR business partners was another learning for me, because they're the ones that are in front of our employees. They're the ones in front of our leadership team every single day. And so what was their talking points? What did they need to know about what was coming, so that when they were asked a question, they had some content, they had the right talking points. We certainly never wanted our HR business partners to say, you know what, I just got the email too, so let me find out and get back to you. That does not bode well. So we did take some extra time and built in a little more buffer to get our HR business partners up to speed and informed and educated before any news hit our employees and our managers. So that was another key learning there. All right, so we're going to jump into our employee training program plan and show you what we did for training.
At ISI, we know that having quick access to reliable support is important to you. That's why we're introducing Help Now, IT and HR support made simple. With one click, you can access Help Now and get IT and HR help and information whenever and wherever you need it. This allows our IT and HR teams to be more nimble and responsive to your questions and requests. With Help Now, employees and managers can ask questions, view the status of requests, and can access information through a robust self-service knowledge library. To get started, visit helpnow.intosurge.com with your single sign-on credentials. Help Now is compatible with your mobile device, and no VPN is needed to log in. For IT support, Help Now is available for all employees, contractors, and consultants worldwide. For HR support, Help Now is available for U.S. employees. IT and HR support made simple. Get started using Help Now today.
That was our training program. During the change management, there was a lot of discussion on, training employees. What do we do? And one of the things that we did was, we did usability testing, and we put, at the time, what we had developed in IT and HR, put it in front of our employees and gave them problem statements. And they had to navigate through Help Now with no help. And we found that we needed to make some pivots, which going back to my point of not being an easy customer for Cloves, because we've learned actually a lot from our customer feedback and made those changes. Once we made those changes, we realized that we didn't need a training program, and it just further supported that we made the right decision with ServiceNow. The fact that we can put out a 1 minute 21-second video, and that was our training program, and that's all that was needed. Perfect. Beautimous. And so there you have it. That was our training program. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the portal. Now, some of you guys might think, Help Now, that's kind of weird. And as we were going through a branding exercise, and we didn't have any outside consultants, we did this ourselves, which everybody got thinking, oh yeah, that's why you ended up with Help Now. Anyway, we were thinking about the employee experience across all supporting functions. So as you look at onboarding more functions into the ServiceNow franchise, we were looking for something that is synonymous. We couldn't do anything like, HR Connect or, Ask HR, because it doesn't apply to IT. IT Connect, Ask IT, maybe, but it's not just a question, right? It's I need a new computer. There's a lot more complexity around the words ask and connect and what have you. And so we came up with Help Now because it doesn't matter what function's on here. And when an employee needs something, they need help now. That's what they need. Help me now. Is it HR help now? IT help now? Enterprise analytics help now? Facilities help now? So on and so forth. So that's how we came up with Help Now. All right, so we're going to jump into our human resources portal. And what we have here is, get help and our knowledge base. So we're going to go ahead and jump into get help. And we have all of our categories here. Our categories are as such, because what I want to share with you something. Earlier I told you about our customer base, right? We support our internal HR organization, we support employees, managers. And so we designed this where if you're a manager, you actually have access to this portal, or this category rather. And so you can get manager help. If you're not a manager, you do not have this as a category. It will not show up for you. If you're an HR employee, you have this category available to you that is very specific to the support that we provide for our HR customers. So essentially, if you're an individual contributor, not in HR, these two categories will not show up for you, which is really cool. We were able to design that. So really simple to use, right? I have a 401k question. I go here. One of the things that we're actually going to be launching in about 2 weeks is our knowledge articles associated with the radio button that the employee chooses. So if they choose 401k, we're going to have a list of the forms and the most common questions and FAQ like 3 documents that we consistently get. So that hopefully when they come here, they select 401k and they see these documents, it's going to actually deflect them from creating a case. They're not going to hit the submit button, which would be great. If they get the help right then and instantaneous and they don't have to wait for someone to deliver them the form, then that's the perfect world, which is another reason why we went with ServiceNow, was we were hoping to get our portal to a point where we can deflect 20%, 15% of cases. So that's one thing that we're going to be adding on here. The other thing that we're going to be adding on is which is really neat. We have an intern program, intern hiring program, and we bring on about 90 interns every summer. We're using a very antiquated form for our managers to submit their requests to get an intern. And it is a lot of time, taking, all the information from the form, populating it into a spreadsheet. And then, my goodness, I won't even bore you with everything else that we do with it afterwards. What we're going to do is, in the next couple of months, we're going to build a tile here, and this is where our managers are going to go to request an intern. On the back end, we can pull the report. The team can look at all kinds of awesome data as it pertains to just the intern program and the intern, headcount requests. So that's another thing that we're going to be doing. As I told you, this is not a launch and leave. We're continuing to make this this portal help now really help our customers and help us be more efficient on the back end as well. So speaking back end, I call it back end. This is our case management system. This is the back end. And what I wanted to share with you guys is this is our dashboard. This is my dashboard, actually. So I know that we have 9 unassigned cases that have not been assigned. And so I have access to them very, very quickly right here. Right now, we have 68 cases. And by the way, this is real time. This is real time. So as soon as a case hits, this number is going to go immediately to 10. I have this set up for real time. So we have 68 open cases. We have 1 that's a high priority that my team has deemed as a high priority because the ask is, I need this immediately. We have 7 cases that are escalated. And we've resolved, since we've launched October 17th, 4,737 cases. And we do badge management, so we kind of pull that out. It's like, yeah, we got to just get that number out from, all the other stuff because we process it differently. For my team, they have the same dashboard, but it's, yes, they have unassigned HR cases, but they have my open cases, my critical, my escalated resolved, and my total resolved. So they can just go right into their information with ease. This right here is our load balancing, basically. And, someone's feeling overwhelmed and a whole bunch of interview requests come in or a whole bunch of benefit cases come in, they know where bandwidth is. And we have established a protocol within our own team on how to manage that. So, but, at a glance, exactly where everybody is, and everybody on my team has this same widget on their dashboard. All right. So we're going to jump back into the presentation, but before I do, I want to tell you that this is a game changer for us. I have gotten so much feedback, from my own team, my own team being able to manage their cases, keep track of what we have coming in across the team with their own work. It's a game changer for us. It has changed our world to wonderfulness, honestly. Before we had ServiceNow, I spent a lot of my time. Oh, look at that! It just did this is updated every 5 minutes. This widget, this widget is not a real-time widget, so it'll do that every 5 minutes, which is really super cool, huh? Prior to ServiceNow implementation, as a manager of the shared services team, I spent so much time with complaints, our customers not being happy. It was really our HR customers, to be honest with you. some employees, but it was really our HR employees that, the report, when am I going to get my report? I'm not getting notified. It's a black hole. It didn't get to me fast enough. Expectations weren't set. And I spent a lot of time listening, trying to get things in the, try to fix the complaints, and it was so frustrating, I have to tell you, because there's nothing I can do. I couldn't do research in email boxes. I couldn't find out who moved an email request into the completed folder, and it wasn't done. It's like, who moved that? And it's like, incredible, crazy, right? So after we launched, I went back out to our internal customers to get feedback. And this is what was shared. Quick response time. Status updates for when a case is assigned to resolved was great. They loved the conversation dialogue within Help Now. The efficient service. I love this one. I can be added to a case for an employee to follow the case. That's the watch list. So what I'm focusing on now is development of my team. I'm focusing on what services can we move into the shared services organization. What transactional work that's left out there that we take off HR business partners' plates and transition that into my team, so that our HR business partners can focus on strategic work and not transactional work. That's where I'm spending my time now, and that's where I should be spending my time. And it's again, game changer. So we do, everything is not perfect, and there's still work for us to do. But we purposefully did not launch with SLAs because we didn't know what we didn't know. I mean, how could you say you're going to get something done within a certain number of hours or days when you have no data? So we have committed to collecting data, which now is a lot easier to do, right? You saw the portal or the dashboard, and those behind that dashboard are actually reports behind those widgets. So we are in the process of looking at, how quickly do we turn around reports? So we can say for the last 4 months, we have, and this is actually a true number, our average number for fulfillment of reports is 3 days. So you could imagine how confident I feel saying that our SLA should be 3 days. We've also had conversations about, we've been delivering things in a different way. So there's that consistent experience that our customers want, internal and external. Although our internal customers feel it more because it's more of the repetitive work, that if one of my HR or shared services specialists fulfills it in a different way than another, they really notice that. So we're working on providing a consistent delivery mechanism so that it doesn't matter who takes the case, the customer, at the end result, the customer gets what they need in the way that they will get it the next time. Escalation protocol, that's something else that we're working on. We've got little tweaks to work on that. It has nothing to do with the tool or ServiceNow. It's about, again, our approach and the role that shared services plays when a case is escalated. As far as the platform is concerned, we are going to be, in a couple of months, we're going to be opening up our closed cases so that our customers have access to their closed cases. In HR, we do a lot of attachments as a part of, resolution of the case. And so we actually have to email it to them, and then in the case, let them know that they've received an email of the form or the report or what have you. So opening up our closed cases to our customers is going to be instrumental for us, because then we can first of all, we can be consistent with our delivery of our product, if you will, the completion of our service, and it'll always be in that case, and they'll have 60 days to have access to that attachment in that closed case. We're looking at adding a workflow for our Make a Difference Award. So in our recognition program, it's all paper, it's print, sign, scan, email. It's so yucky. We are going to build a workflow within Help Now, so that the approvals are all within ServiceNow. And then we're going to add a new tile. So our HR customer said, hey, I'd love a tile for this. I use it a lot, and it'd just be really, really awesome for me to go to PAN notification letter tile. Boom. So overall, we're very, very pleased. We continue to get positive feedback, and it's been a great, great journey, and with a lot of learnings, and more to come. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Julia for the Q&A portion.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. That was a great presentation. Really, really, really liked it. So I have some questions. First, did you document HR processes in knowledge articles? How did you maintain knowledge base? That's the first question.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So the knowledge base was, in fact, I'm going to go to it right now. Give me 1 second. So you'll see that the categories are a little different in the knowledge base, so we really had to break it down at a more granular level. And so we right now, we don't have HR processes in our knowledge base, but that's not to say that we can't. We had a lot of work with, and our first focus was our benefits, because we launched at a time when we had, just a few weeks away, we had open enrollment. So we really wanted to make sure that our employees had all the information that they needed as it pertains to our benefits. So that was our first focus. The second thing that we took on was our new hires. So in fact, that's the most common category in articles, or popular, I should say, for our new hires to get the information that they need. But so those were two things. Those are two very specific areas that we felt we needed to take on first, because we certainly didn't want to boil the ocean, and we couldn't. We didn't have enough time. Since then since we've launched, we created the recognition. So we're adding things as it makes sense along the way. I hope that helps.
Great, thank you. So this is it. Second question. Shalini is asking if was it out of the box solution, or did we make any changes?
What was out of the box? What was the question?
HR implementation, if the HR module that we implemented for you guys was out of the box, or we did any changes from the out of the box version?
That's a great question. I think most of it was out of the box. We didn't do anything. Other than what isn't out of the box is this design. This design here, I don't think was out of the box.
Yeah, the other thing, remember, it was the branding we did. We help you out with the branding, but I can get more information from my technical consultant about that. The people that work with you, so I can help you with that answer.
Thank you.
Other question. Let's see. Did you replace your core HCM system at the same time as you implemented HRSM in ServiceNow?
No, nothing else changed. We have all our same systems.
Okay.
We just implemented ServiceNow.
Great. Pratyusha asks, did you tie HR to IT or facilities? Well, I don't know if you did that. You tied HR to IT or facilities?
Well, they're in the franchise. So facilities isn't onboarded yet. I think facilities is on the roadmap. I don't know what the timing is, but IT has their own portal. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I don't know either if they're tied or not, but that's probably something IT would answer better because they were the first one we implement. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I can get back to you anyway with this question. Shalini asked again, how did you get feedback? Did you do any CAST surveys? Not sure for what he was talking about here. Feedback on the portal, I guess, but
Yeah, I think let me just go ahead and just share a couple of things. We did get feedback. We got customer feedback before we launched on the categories. So from an employee perspective, did this make sense? Were anything financial from a benefits perspective, or were these the right things? Sorry about that. Were these the right categories? So if you went to health, did this make sense? So we got customer feedback that ultimately had an impact on our end product. That was number one. I heard surveys. We are not doing surveys right now. We want to have a more comprehensive survey strategy, if you will, so that we don't have end up with survey fatigue with more functions on the platform, if that makes any sense. And we haven't gotten to that yet.
Thank you. Sherry asked, what HR system are you using? PeopleSoft, Workday, and what level of integration do you have between that system and ServiceNow?
Yeah, we have SAP right now. There will be no integration with SAP and ServiceNow. We will be going through a new core implementation next year, and so this year we're looking at our design and our basically our scope and design and see if there's a place and integration with that and ServiceNow. So we've got a lot of exciting things ahead of us that could actually have more of an impact on ServiceNow.
Okay, perfect. So this is done. Laura, I'm not sure, this looks like a very Italian name. Can users enter HR requests in the IT portal that flow to the HR portal?
No, but people do it. Our employees do it, but what's super cool is IT will flip it over to HR on the back end, and so we but it's ideally, I mean, there's no place. So when you go to IT, there's nothing about getting help that is HR related. But it's amazing that we get some IT stuff, they get some HR things, but we work it out on the back end, and with the focus of it being seamless to the customer.
Okay. Perfect. Employee. Okay, Shalini says employee feedback. ServiceNow has built-in survey mechanism. Is this like a question or a comment, Shalini? I'm not sure.
Could you, Julia, can you just repeat it one more time?
He says employee feedback. ServiceNow has built-in survey mechanism.
Yeah, it does. But we haven't built it. And I was focusing on getting feedback from our internal customers, and then also, anyway.
Good. Last
We'll get there.
question. Yeah. How do you keep the employee data updated?
Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. So there is some integration between SAP and ServiceNow, and it is the employee data. It's employee information. So as an employee, I could have done that there, but so as an employee, it knows who I am, and it has all of our employees here, so I can actually create a case for somebody else. And then we have data that we ported over for reporting purposes that we can slice and dice in any way based on location, based on leader, based on org, business unit, so on and so forth. So I'm sorry about that. I did forget about that. But then the core of keeping employee data updated, we actually have we do have in manager resources, we have some record producers here that managers can use, that they create a case, and we go into SAP and update it for the manager. So we have antiquated processes that next year, with the implementation of a new core system, that we're gonna solve a lot of those problems. So we have a lot more work to do, guys. A lot.
Well, that's good for Cloves, I guess. Anyway, last question. Can they send HR requests via an email into the platform?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes, they can. And this goes back to Cloves being very patient, flexible, and nimble, because that happened at the last hour. So our dream was to just drive everything to the portal, because we really did want that deflection percentage of, hey, get the information, you have direct access, you have the knowledge base. But the leaders at the very top were very concerned about it, concerned enough that we had to bring in email to case. So we do have email to case. I'm happy to say that in HR, our email to case ratio is about 40% email and 60% portal, which is really, really good.
Awesome. He commented, wow. Okay, great. Guys, if you have one more question, that's the time. If not, just send me an email again, giulia@clovesin.com, and we'll be more than happy to help you. I don't see any other questions, so I guess we can end the webinar here. Yvonne, thank you so much. It was great. You are an amazing customer. We really enjoy working with you guys. No, for real. I really liked working with you guys. So thank
I'm
you.
glad to hear. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, all the attendees, and please stay tuned on the next webinar. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.